everyone. What is up, you guys? It is episode 34 of the Sci-Fly Zone, and today's destination is going to be taking us back to the DC universe as we are going to be reviewing Peacemaker Season 2, Episode 3. And this one, I would say, definitely had a shift in tone a little bit as we spent much more time in the alternate universe that we've been kind of dipping our toes in a little bit in the past two episodes. And this universe is way different than Peacemaker's original universe. It's crazy. I mean, he literally calls it the best dimension ever.
Yeah, he is in love with this universe. I mean, he kind of seems like he found a home, ironically, like by leaving his own home and going into another dimension. He feels he is loving his time right now.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the means as to how he got there, not good.
Yeah. Talking about killing his variant, perhaps.
Yeah, although, like, to be fair, his variant did not leave him with any choice. Like,
True.
Peacemaker tried, and, you know, I'm going to keep calling his variant Peacekeeper. Peacemaker kept trying to talk to Peacekeeper, you know, like, explaining to him, like, hey, don't do this. What's going on? And he's like, nah, bro, I think I can kill you justifiably right now. So, you know, he left him no choice. And now he is assuming his other version self in the universe with seemingly no shame or guilt anymore.
Yeah, he's reaping all the benefits of his variant's life. You know, I mean, everything from like the way that his relationship with his brother and his dad are, to like his home life in general, and like and we'll get into like the relationship with Amelia in this world, and like, I mean, everything is just everything is a lot better for him in this universe.
100%. So this episode opens with a 3-year flashback in the original universe, and we open to Amelia and our boy Rick Flag. He is back in a flashback. And we find out that him and Amelia were romantically involved to a degree. They were having sleepovers.
Yep.
They were Netflix and chilling.
Yeah, pretty much. Title of this episode was Another Rick Up My Sleeve. So we'll get another reference to that title as we go on a little bit. But this flashback to 3 years ago, basically confirming that Rick Flag and Amelia Harcourt had some type of romantic relationship at some point. And this was around the time of the 2021 The Suicide Squad movie. So, and they actually mentioned in a line during this scene where Amelia says, "You ship off today" to Corto Maltese, where that mission takes place in the Suicide Squad. So a little more context to that movie. Pretty cool to learn that. Maybe can like go rewatch that movie with a new perspective. Pretty cool.
Yeah. And not only that, Rick Flag mentions his relationship with the Enchantress. And if you guys remember her, that was from the 2016 David Ayer Suicide Squad. So at that time, not only was Rick Flag still in the relationship with the Enchantress, seemingly keeping peace among Earth, because he says that if he were to break up with her, she would tear a hole in the Earth, but he's still messing around with Amelia too. So Rick Flag's got that dog in him, you know?
Yeah, pretty much.
So for those who are confused as to how or why this is even canon, James Gunn's kept it pretty simple. If it's referenced or talked about in the movies or content that comes out from the new DC universe, then it's canon. If it's not talked about, then it's not canon. Very simple.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, really simple. I kind of like how he's like sort of picking and choosing what is canon and what's not canon, you know? I feel like it's kind of been working out. We did get a flashback to one of the scenes in Corto Maltese, I believe, or a scene during the Suicide Squad. And they show Rick Flag Jr. in that scene, but they make a conscious effort not to show anybody else from the Suicide Squad or from that crew in that scene. So not sure if we're going to get any references to them or if that's, going to be considered in the future. But I mean, cool update with new context, you know?
Yeah, and it's really cool to see just like stuff in the past in the new universe.
Yeah.
It definitely helps with the world building, and this show has done a lot with world building, which we'll get more into later with the new universe and some of the niche things that are going on within that universe. But Rick Flag says to Amelia during this scene, it might be worth it to tear a hole in the earth if it meant he could actually fully be with her. And that just shows the kind of momentum that their relationship was heading towards. But we find out that that was probably the last conversation that those two had, because Rick Flag died at the hands of Peacemaker, obviously at Suicide Squad. So now it kind of makes sense as to why Amelia doesn't want to be with Peacemaker. He killed her boyfriend.
Yeah, totally. They've been very distant. They've had an interesting relationship so far in this show, and there's been questions as to why, maybe what happened, but this seems like a pivotal reason for why their relationship is the way that it is. I mean, he killed her boy toy, she's her boy toy. There's no way for her to like look at him the same way that she did.
Yeah, I don't blame her at all. And honestly, low-key, I kind of respect her for how much she's kind of put up with him, considering that.
True.
Because she could totally just be outright closed off to him after that point. But since they had to work together, she knew that holding that much of a grudge would, probably make the team environment very toxic. And also, they still have slept together. It's not like there hasn't been anything. Like, there's been a bit of chemistry there, here and there, but, it's very complicated.
Yeah, very, very complicated.
So, after we get that piece of context in the flashback, we cut back to the present in Peacemaker waking up in his alternate dimension, because in the last episode he walked into there pretty drunk, texting Amelia because the message wasn't going to text in his universe because he had the other universe's version's phone. So he went back in so the text could send, and then he ended up asking Amelia in the text, hey, you want to meet up and talk? Because this version of Amelia might give him a chance. They actually had a thing.
Yeah, totally. It's a very different relationship between them in this world. Very different chemistry. She seems like a super different person. And yeah, if he can't make it work in his universe, he's seemingly gonna like do what he can to make it work in some universe, in some way at least. He's very persistent.
Yes, that is one thing Peacemaker is. He is very persistent, whether it be peace or coochie, you name it. But he wakes up and his brother Keith walks in and he's worried. He's like, dude, are you drinking more? Like, you said you were gonna chill. Are you taking the pills again? Which we find out later, while he was getting dressed, the other universe's version was definitely taking the pills. He had all the pills. Yeah, like, I'm sure low-key he could be selling some of them for a bit of cash on the side to afford all of those designer clothes. I wouldn't rule that out. Yeah. But he clearly had substance abuse issues, so his brother asking that is definitely valid.
Yeah, totally. 100%, especially considering, like he had mentioned, they didn't know where he was. He's been missing all night. There's blood in the library too. Like, there has to be some explanation, and nobody knows why except for Chris.
And Glebe.
Yeah, he was the witness.
But yeah, one thing that's very interesting about Peacemaker's alternate dimension, it's heavily rumored to be revealed later on in the show as Earth 10, the universe where the Nazis won World War II. Because if you look around, there's no colored people in the background in any of the scenes in this universe. And also, in episode 1, his other universe's dad mentioned Bloodhaven, but he pronounced it as Blodhaven, like a German would. So, and his father in the original universe was already a white supremacist, so I wouldn't rule out that aspect of him to a degree carrying over in the other universe. And fun fact, Bloodhaven is a location of Dick Grayson's neighborhood, aka Nightwing, aka Robin, depending on the story.
Ooh.
Pretty cool world building there.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah. There's got to be something off about this world. It just seems very, like, it's hard to put my finger on like what it is exactly, but there's definitely something going on, and I feel like that Earth 10 would make sense. Like, there have not been, I haven't seen a single person of color on screen, like, at all, so in that universe. So yeah. I mean, Hey, maybe Chris's racist dad took control of the city too.
Maybe, yeah, who knows? I'm sure we'll definitely get more of a reveal as to exactly how that universe came to be that the way it is. But I found out that the like hero's name that his brother is playing in this show is called Captain Triumph.
Oh.
And that feels very
yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, let's go and
yeah, conquer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I'm just gonna keep calling him Keith.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's same.
The thing is, Keith hasn't shown any racist tendencies, or his dad really hasn't either yet in this universe.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but I just wonder if, like, how far to the extent the whiteness of the world has expanded to.
Yeah.
Because, maybe there's no hate to show because there's nothing to hate.
Yeah, because they're just living in their own bubble at this point.
Yeah, so who knows? We'll find out. But Peacemaker denies taking any of the hard stuff because technically he wasn't. But his brother says, "Get up, I'm making you eggs. Come on." So while he's getting ready, he remembers, "Oh crap, I drunk texted Amelia. We're supposed to meet at work. I'm about to be late." So he knows nothing about this universe. Remember that. He just walked in. But he's trying to act like he's been there the whole time. So the way he asks his brother questions about this universe, super sus, not smart. He's like, "Hey, pop quiz, what's the exact address of my ex-girlfriend's workplace?" Huh?
Yeah, very low-key, playing it off super cool, totally casual. I do this all the time. I ask you the address of my ex-girlfriend's works all the time.
Yeah, because I would know that.
Right. Yeah, that too. Yeah.
Yeah, bro. His brother obviously notices this behavior and he's like, "Dude, you're being really weird. I don't know what you're doing. Why are you acting this way?" He's like, "I'm not." He's like, "Yes, you are." And it's like, "Okay, fine. Another question. Can I drive your car?" He's like, "Why? You have your own Peacemobile." He's like, "Correct answer." It's like, what?
Yeah. It's like, okay, maybe he is taking the pills or something.
Oh my gosh.
He's like,
dude. All right, so are you gonna go see Amelia? He's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go see Amelia." He's like, What about the jarhead?" F him. Whatever. And later on we find out that Jarhead is Rick Flag. He is alive and well in this universe, but he has a much different personality. Much different personality.
Yeah. He is nowhere near the person that he was in the Suicide Squad in this universe. He is a dorky, awkward, like persistent weirdo who is just like, Chris gets to work and he sees Amelia, they hug, and Rick Flag is like peeking over his desk in his cubicle, just staring at them. Amelia says, like, "Don't worry, Rick, he's just here to talk." He's like, "Talk about what? What are you guys going to talk about?"
I feel like I should just know about it. If it's something official, I should just be a part of it. Like, he's just so anxious and insecure about all of this, and it's really hilarious to kind of see that range in the performance from the actor that plays Rick Flag. It was very funny.
It was great. Yeah, he was really good in this episode.
Yeah. Also, when he kicked over the trash can and then he tried to blame it on the guy who was closest to him. He's like, "Dude, I told you not to put that near the wall." And then he just sits down at his desk after, just like assuming work, even though it's not even his desk.
It's so funny. It's so funny.
So, Peacemaker, before he gets to the office and he has that whole encounter with Rick Flag, he's driving to the Argus headquarters, and I swear you could have told me Superman was in town with how everyone was reacting. Him and his brother and dad must be like the godhead of that universe, or at least that town or something. Like, I don't know what it is, but they are just treated like royalty.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody loved Peacemaker. People on the street, like on the side of the road, were chanting, cheering his name. It was there was like a little kid in a car who was yelling out the window, "Peacemaker, I love you," and he said, "I love you too, little kid." And then the kid just starts bawling his eyes out, which I guarantee you is an experience that is an encounter that John Cena himself has experienced hundreds, probably thousands of times, honestly. So like that was, I mean, he wasn't even really playing a character at that point. That was a typical John Cena interaction.
Yeah, and then we also saw a female version of the Flash.
We did? Oh.
Yeah.
We saw a female Flash. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we can't exactly show the full costume, you know, we'll get copyrighted.
Lack thereof.
Yeah. But yeah, that just goes to show as to how much people adore Peacemaker in this universe. And again, try and find a colored person in that crowd of people who are cheering him on. You can't.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah. You know, since we're going to other universes, last episode, Peacemaker mentioned that the Quantum Unfolding Chamber does have access to 90 other universes. So I wonder if we're going to go to any other universes, or if Argus is going to get inside, and what if they go to the wrong universe?
Oh, wow. Yeah, I didn't even think of that at all, because I mean, they're staking out the house, right? They're looking for Chris. They want him. They're going to his house,
and they want the portal, and they know it's there now.
They know it's there, but they don't know which door Chris goes through, because he didn't even know about the door until he was stumbling to it drunkenly.
Yeah,
like he got there by accident, and he had to go through a maze of doors.
And technically, Eagly found it too.
Yeah, true. Yeah, he took him to it. Yeah, basically. Maybe they get Eagly. Maybe they force him to take them to the door. But I mean, they don't even know. Yeah, I haven't thought about that. But that's very. They'd have to get very lucky if they're gonna find the right door.
Yeah, definitely. It's gonna be a really big. It's gonna be a really pivotal moment there. But anyway, we cut to our original universe. Back to Amelia and crew. They're recovering from drinking on the rooftop from last night when they were celebrating Economos coming back home. And Leota is just pressing Amelia about Peacemaker and just their current relationship. And she's like, bro, it's 8 a.m. Why are we doing this right now? It is way too early.
Yeah. They just woke up. They just had They had 4 Bud Lights. They're incredibly hungover.
Yeah.
Not in the mood to talk about this at all. And Leota does not care. She keeps asking, and Amelia is having none of it.
No, absolutely none of it. And meanwhile, Vigilante is just being overwhelming with his presence. He's like,
as usual.
Yeah, literally. He's just so confident about his animal knowledge. And he's always wrong. He always wants people to quiz him, and he gets them wrong every time. It's so funny.
Yeah, he just makes up facts and pretends like they're real. He says that a crow could stab another crow with a paperclip if it was being a dick, which I guess maybe hypothetically, technically it could. It never has. That's never happened, but maybe it could.
Yeah, and also apparently his darkest secret is that he likes spiders.
Yeah. Yeah, it's his deepest, darkest secret.
And not that he's, quote unquote, murdered a shit ton of people.
Yeah, which he was very elated to share, by the way. He was very, very proud of that.
Yeah, so after he's just yapping, Amelia's like, hey, I feel like Economos might have choked on his own throw up. Why don't you go check on him? He's like, you're just telling me this now? Are you kidding? So then he obviously sprints off immediately. Amelia's like, Yoda, why are you encouraging him? Stop talking to him about the animal stuff. It is too early.
Stop encouraging him to go on these rants that nobody cares about.
Literally. So while Vigilante goes and checks on Economos, which he's fine. You know, she just made that up so he would go away. They run upstairs, back up top to the roof where they had the party. And again, Leota just does not understand why Amelia does not want to be with Peacemaker. But obviously we know now why. But Amelia does not have the emotional capacity or mental capacity to tell her the honest truth in this moment. or really probably in general as to why she doesn't want to be with him, because it's probably one, hard for her, and she has such a strong wall up for her emotions.
Yeah, absolutely. You talked about her like avoidant personality in the last episode, with regards to like her past and her trauma, and that's kind of how she deals with all of her friends. Honestly, she doesn't really want any of them to get too close because she's afraid of getting hurt again.
Yeah, for sure. But Leota makes a good point, asking Amelia, if there's no future for you and Chris, as you're saying, does he know that?
Yeah.
Have you made that clear to him?
Yeah, and she doesn't. She doesn't say anything. She doesn't respond because she, one, doesn't want to lie, and also doesn't want to tell the truth and say that no, he doesn't know.
She pled the fifth.
Yeah, literally.
So after they're done talking up on the roof, we cut back to Peacemaker showing up at Argus, and we kind of already went over that interaction. Basically, it resulted in Amelia wanting to ask Peacemaker, like, hey, can we just talk outside? Brick's being weird. And yeah. I'd rather just be able to talk outside and not have to deal with him staring at us the whole time and being weird.
Creeping around the corners.
Yeah, literally. So after they walk out, we cut back to Economos, and he gets a call from Bordeaux. And she's pissed at him. She says, why didn't you tell us that Peacemaker had a superpowered duck? And then immediately we cut to Agent Flurry correcting her, saying it was a meta duck, okay? His bird blindness, I love it so much.
Good, man. It's such a good bit. I love it so much. So again, something that I thought was like just one throwaway line, just like a one-off made-up thing, is like playing a role in the plot of the movie, in the show. And it's literally it's so good. I love his character so much.
Me too, man.
Tim Meadows is great.
Yeah, he's perfect for the role, 100%.
Yeah.
And Economos corrects her, saying it's not a superpowered duck, regular eagle, which very impressive that it's a regular eagle. I thought it had some sort of element of being like meta to a degree.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it would. It's definitely displayed an impressive amount of like power and skill so far in this show and in last season. So like, yeah, the fact that there's no real like enhancements to it, I mean, pretty impressive.
Yep, goes to show where love and training can really take an eagle.
Yep.
That's the first time I've ever said that sentence.
Yeah.
But after she hangs up on Economos, he gets up because he was sleeping in the tub. Because, because
that's what you do.
Yeah, when you're drunk. You sleep in the tub.
So comfortable.
He gets out and asks Vigilante, yo, dude, where are my pants? And Vigilante took them off, washed them, dried them, and folded them. Which is nice, but Economos is obviously like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah. I mean, he's just being a good friend, he's taking care of his buddy.
But we cut back to Amelia and Peacemaker in the other universe. They're out walking, talking on like a little mini date. And they are so glorified, Peacemaker in the other universe and his dad and his brother. I mean, there are murals of them on the wall. And we saw the trophies and the news articles as well. They are really highly regarded in this universe.
Yeah, 100%. They're like beloved people. It seems like they are doing good things. They're keeping like the city safe, at least to our knowledge, from our perspective. And yeah, I mean, they're highly acclaimed, very much beloved. Trophies, newspapers, articles, like they have everything going for them.
Yeah, although there is no mention really of anything outside of the town. Like, it seems like the town in and of itself is its own universe, kind of.
Yeah.
The way that it kind of exists within the rest of the world that it exists in. Yeah,
totally. It's almost like it kind of reminds me of, and I don't want to like keep comparing DC to Marvel because I know people don't like that, but it almost feels like Westview in a way in WandaVision, where it's like everybody's like, yeah. It's its own ecosystem in a bubble. There's not really anything else going outside of it.
It kind of feels artificial.
Yeah, totally.
Dude, that's a really good comparison, actually. Like even the color grading and the design of the town itself, like it does feel very similar. So yeah. I totally feel you on that. And while they're walking through, they play an Ozzy Osbourne song, which I thought was a really interesting choice here because Ozzy Osbourne passed away recently, RIP. And I feel like since the other universe's version of Peacemaker died, also, I feel like there might be a theme to this because considering that the original Peacemaker is now living in this universe, seemingly, even though he isn't supposed to, like it's kind of like a happiness that's being overshadowed by like a melancholy kind of because you know, like Ozzy Osbourne's music, like thematically, is pretty dark, and and also since he passed away recently and like the other universe's version died as well, and he's like inhabiting that universe's position, you know, like I feel like there might be like a reason for playing Ozzy Osbourne in that instance.
Yeah, totally. I think that's a really good point you make there. Especially, I feel like I noticed something a little similar to that while they were on this walk together. Amelia, like they come across a puppy, and Amelia immediately runs over and starts petting it. And as she looks up to Chris, he has this look in his eyes where, and like props to John Cena, it's very his facial expressions are great in this. He's had a lot of very
he does like, so much good work with his face. Like you can really know like exactly what he's feeling in that moment. Like it's not a dull performance in any scene. Like he's giving it his all in every scene. And I think that's also kind of props to the director, because James Gunn wrote most of Peacemaker, but he's not directing it. This is my fault for not knowing the director's name, even though it pops up in the credits of every single intro. So that's my fault. I'll put a screenshot of the director's name up, but it props to him for being able to kind of guide John Cena like through what the character is supposed to be feeling, along with incorporating probably with what John Cena feels what should be happening in the scene as well. Like it's a very, very well directed performance.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I like about it is his facial expressions aren't like over the top or anything. It's not cheesy or corny. It's very subtle. It's like things that like a real person would do, you know? Like he looked at Amelia and he had a mix of like, he was obviously elated and very happy that he's in this situation to where he can be living this reality, but at the same time he knows that it's not his reality and it can only be so real for him to a certain extent, you know? And I think like even in that like 3 to 5 second clip of just a facial reaction of him, like really captured that very well. So I think we've talked about several times and like in these reviews how good of a job John Cena's been doing with this character and how much it feels like he fits with it. And I mean, this was just another good example.
Yeah, I mean, and also, is this not the epitome of imposter syndrome?
Yeah, honestly, 100%. That's so true.
Yeah, it totally makes sense why he would be feeling a very complex series of emotions in that moment, because he's seeing something so great, so awesome, but he knows part of him doesn't deserve it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, he's feeling a lot of he's feeling very conflicted in many ways.
Yeah. So they're walking and talking, and the small talk banter is pretty good. You know, they're giggling, having back and forths and stuff, but eventually they sit down and Amelia asks the big question like, hey, so what do we talk about? Why are we here? And this is a very particular thing that I noticed, and I want to get your opinion on this, CJ, and correct me if I'm wrong here. Okay. But Chris says, you know, I just wanted to see what's going on. And Amelia's like, what's that mean? Which, you know, I get kind of a vague answer. So he says, you know, I just wanted to see what's happening. And she's like, see what's happening? And my point here is these phrases, when he says them, it feels like she doesn't understand what he's insinuating at all with these phrases. Most people would be able to generally pick up at least like what he's asking and elaborate on it. Like, what do you mean? You know, like what's going on with my life, who I'm seeing, what I'm doing, but she doesn't really do that. She seems confused about the phrases themselves. You know what I mean? And I feel like these phrases resonate with certain aspects of Black culture and the type of terminology that is typically used when communicating within those aspects of Black culture. And I know, obviously, I'm not one to speak upon Black culture. I mean, look at me. But I did some research on this just to make sure that like I wasn't just making, you know, unsubstantiated claims. And there are parts of Black culture where these phrases do have significant usage. And I make these points because I want to go back to my original point earlier in the video where I said this could be the universe where the Nazis won World War II. And if that is the case, where that is this universe, then there would probably be nearly no Black culture whatsoever. And if that is the case, that's probably why she doesn't understand what exactly these phrases mean, because that's not typically how people in this world communicate.
That's a really interesting point. I could see that as a possibility for sure. You know, language is like always evolving. It's always changing. Like trends come in and out. Things like phrases are used in different parts of the world, and like when you're not using like phrases anymore, they go away, they go out of style. And at some point, like if this is like you're saying Earth 10 where the Nazis won and took over America, at this point in the current day in their dimension, they wouldn't have had access or been around like the culture to have that language kind of evolve for their society, you know, like it wouldn't have ever become a trend in the first place if there's not like a variety of people and a variety of experiences,
and
it's
also
gonna be very
a space for them to grow.
100%. So I mean, it like I said, it feels like there's very much something off with this dimension, and we're getting like hints of it, and they're not totally addressing it, but I think at some point they will later on in the season. So I could definitely see that as a possibility.
Yeah. Also, the original version of Peacemaker, he listens to a lot of hip hop. Like that's for sure. And that type of language and terminology is pretty common in hip hop. So you gotta wonder, you know, if there is little to no Black culture in this universe, and there's probably little to no hip hop, which is probably again why those phrases might seem so confusing to her. But I could just be looking too much into that because, you know, she's just trying to question him and wants to get a direct answer out of him. So that could also just be it. But I feel like maybe both could be going on.
Yeah, totally. And we know they have a weird relationship and weird dynamic regardless of what dimension they're in, you know. So I could see both being options.
Yeah, also this whole conversation, he's just going off the top because he has no idea what actual prior history him and this universe's version of Amelia have. Yeah,
totally. He's living in a like he's coming to the conversation in a completely different context than she is, and ironically it's kind of the best conversation that we've seen them have so far. It's like the only one that's really ended well. He's talking about like how he wants to like explore things, you know, with her, like explore the relationship that they have together, and she doesn't say no. She doesn't deny it. She says, I think we should take some time to think about it. And, you know, I think that's a great step. It's better than her pushing him away or being like avoidant as she has in the other dimension.
And she also hints that the other universe's version of Peacemaker was effing around on her. He was sleeping around and not being loyal to her. So she says to him, if we're going to do this, I can't have someone effing around on me. And just for the record, Flag doesn't F around on me. So I like that about him. So if we're going to give this a chance, that's non-negotiable, basically.
Yeah, totally. She does a good job here of like being open to it and not like denying the relationship right away, but also like setting boundaries. And like even from the jump, before they even met up, she, in her text to him, she said, yeah, we can meet up, but I only want to talk. That's all that's going to happen, you know?
Yeah.
Kind of insinuating that maybe Peacekeeper, that version, would be wanting something else from that, but she does a good job like setting boundaries.
Yeah, she definitely is a lot more emotionally intelligent in this universe. Like she's been able to communicate a lot better and probably go through less trauma as well.
Yeah, totally. And I think part of that is probably that relationship with Rick Jr. and like not losing him in the way that she did in Chris's original universe, our universe. You know, she doesn't have that additional trauma like affecting her relationships.
Yeah, so you got to wonder if Project Starfish happened in that universe.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, there's
because that's the incident that caused Rick Flag Jr. to die. So you got to wonder if that happened or not, because it seemed like the same amount of time has happened. And in our universe, Rick Flag Jr. has been dead for 3 years.
Yeah.
So in this universe, he's been alive seemingly an extra 3 years. So you got to wonder if Project Starfish happened, and if it didn't happen, or if it did happen, why was it different?
Yeah, totally. We don't really know much about any of the events of this world yet, aside from the fact that the top trio are like loved by everybody.
Yeah, for sure. I totally agree. So, Amelia's asking for a more straight up answer. He says, okay, I'm just asking about Flag. Is there any future with us? And, I've been working on my trauma. I've been trying to be better. And we said, we'll give it a shot, but let's think about it. I don't want you to just be impulsive and want this, and then, 3 days later you dip out on me. So let's just think about it. And to a seemingly great end to a conversation, we have a horrible start to a new event. We see some people running in front of them, and then we see a guy trip, and then all of a sudden he turns into red mist.
Yeah.
Bomb goes off, and him and a bunch of other guys in what's going to be announced as the Sons of Liberty, they were heading to the DMV, of all places. They are taking over one government agency a week until their demands are met.
Yeah. This what was a really nice, sweet scene escalates very quickly, and turns into a completely different situation.
Yeah.
They get like knocked over by the explosion, and the bench like falls over too. They're like in shock, and this is the first time that we see our universe's Chris in the second dimension in action and like protecting the city.
Yeah. And, he actually has a chance to be a hero, which is kind of what he wanted to do. And the Justice Gang, didn't really see what he had to offer. So it's nice for him to finally get an opportunity. And he gets this opportunity without his suit on. He just goes, I'm going to go in my designer shirt and jeans. We're going to we're going to improv this. I like it.
Yep. In his Versace shirt and his gold chain, he like jumps from one building to another, jumps through a window
like Captain America, literally.
Yeah, seriously. By the way, also one thing that we saw very quickly in this scene, Chris is looking around, looking up at the building, trying to see how he's going to get in, and right next to the building is a poster for the Mighty Crabjoys.
Oh yeah,
which is a band from Superman that we saw there. Which is,
it's one of his favorite bands.
Yeah, totally. He defended it against Lois.
Yeah.
And this isn't the first reference to Superman in the show. There have been several references, and like right after it, something that I interpreted as a Superman reference as well. Maybe it wasn't, but it was very similar. Chris goes into like this pet shop where he's trying to get up on the roof, and the owner of the shop is like trying to get all the animals out and like help save them, similarly to what Superman did in Metropolis with the like saving the squirrel, and like we saw like the old lady with her turtle. Like there's been a lot of references to like protecting lives regardless of the size of them,
and I feel like that also might just be like an aspect of James Gunn in general. Like James Gunn always has been pretty animal positive in a lot of his projects.
Yeah, very true.
So yeah, Chris goes into the DMV with a bunch of people with weapons trying to take it over to get their demands met. And these people are, like I previously mentioned, the Sons of Liberty. In the comics, their goal was to try and eliminate crime and corruption, but they ended up just being pretty ruthless vigilantes that kind of undermined the law in pursuit of their own aspirations, basically. So they're being adapted into kind of a small villain that Peacemaker has to overcome in this universe, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought so too. I thought this was great. It was a good addition to the DCU from the comics.
Yeah, and he makes quick work of these guys, and very gory quick work. A lot of sharp objects go into a lot of places.
Yeah.
Peacemaker, after doing some improv with some sharp objects. He finally gets in hands of a gun and does a 5-hit combo. And then he saves the day by going into the room and simply unplugging the bombs from the bomb detonator.
Yep. It's simple as that. Works very well.
These guys were not smart. And there was a helicopter also near the building trying to take away any of the Sons of Liberty who managed to make it out of the mission alive to try and escape safely. And Keith, his brother, Captain Triumph, he does a little... What kind of move would you call this? Like a flying kick?
Yeah.
Kind of?
Yeah.
As if he was like taking a slide through the helicopter, basically. Just goes through it and destroys the helicopter immediately. And at the same time, Chris is also aura farming like this whole moment, just being like, yeah, I saved the day. And then Amelia is so proud of him. She runs up to him crying, being like, you're such a hero. I love you. Thank you. And he's just like, this is the best dimension ever.
Yeah, man. Not only is he a hero in this dimension already, he's like, he saved the day. He saved the day with his brother. He got the girl. He is never leaving this dimension.
Yeah, no,
he's
like
never going home.
This was a perfect day.
Yeah, literally. Things went as well as they could have.
He finally got to kill people and not feel like weird or bad about it.
Yeah, seriously. And like, there's such a distinct like difference between his universe and the Peacekeeper's universe, the one that he is currently in now.
Yeah.
With, I mean, all of his relationships, he had a drink with his brother, and it like he just had one. Seemingly, it wasn't like they weren't partying; they were just sitting and talking.
Post-game drink.
Yeah, kind of similarly to how he and his brother and his dad did the first time he went in and saw them. It's just like very different. Like, he's not partying really. He's like saving the day. He's not arguing or fighting with Amelia.
It's all in moderation.
Yeah. Things are going really well for him, man.
Yep, but there is another universe that he does have to worry about. Yeah. Because Bordeaux and Argus, they want to kill Eagly and they want to capture Peacemaker. And they bring in Michael Rooker's original character made just for him in this show. So cool. Red Saint Wild.
Yeah, man. Awesome. Red Saint Wild, he's tripped out, honestly. He looks super cool.
Yeah,
they call him in as like the eagle hunter, and he looks exactly like the type of person who would hunt birds. He fits the bill perfectly.
Yeah, and he asks if he can kill more, if he can, and they're like, no, just eagle. He's like, oh,
yeah,
okay, fine. So Amelia is also texting Chris around the same time and just saying like, hey, good job today. I'm really proud of you. No rush on if you really want to do this with you and me, but, just really proud of you. And he's got to be feeling just elated.
Yeah. This is, I mean, it's kind of like everything he wants to hear, and like what he wants to happen is exactly what's happening, but it's only going to work for so long. There's no way he can keep this up forever. He's reaping the benefits right now, but at some point it's got to come back to bite him.
Yep, and it seems like that's probably what's going to happen next episode, because Argus is pulling up on his house with a full team this time, not just the 5 Stooges.
Who don't know how to deal with the bird.
Yeah.
Didn't know it was there in the first place.
Literally. I don't know how. Yeah, no, I'm fully with Economos blaming Bordeaux, being like, dude, it's not my fault you didn't read his dossier. Like, what?
Yeah. You got to read the dossier, man. If there's one thing we know, what Langston Fleury told us last episode, you got to read the dossier.
Literally. It's so good. Oh my gosh. But yeah, so Peacemaker's feeling on top of the world, but he's walking back to his universe and he has no idea what's coming for him. And that's where we leave off on the episode.
Yeah, Argus is like basically right on the front doorstep. Chris is on his way back to his dimension, seemingly. Seems like that's where he's going. He's walking towards the door, and they're pretty much going to get there at the same time. And if the trend continues as the season has so far, with episodes picking up right where they left off and like ended, then things are going to get very interesting next episode. Things are really about to pick up.
Yeah, and it's not gonna bode well for Peacemaker if he's gonna have to kill government agents.
Yeah, not at all. Yeah.
So do you think he's gonna allow himself to be taken in, and then maybe someone's gonna bust him out?
Ooh.
Imagine Batman bust him out.
Oh. That would be bad. That would be pretty sick.
Yeah, I know. Like it would. I don't know how it would make sense. Like in a plot way, but it was just it'd be fun.
Hey man, there are some people have been talking since the new season premiered that there are going to be some big cameos in the last 3 episodes. You know, like James Gunn said it himself, the last 3 episodes feel like a totally different show. So like, and we're not too far from that. You know, things are going to be picking up really quickly, and I'm looking forward to where it goes, because there are so many different possibilities that could happen still.
Yeah, and also James Gunn has also said that Peacemaker season 2 is sort of a prequel to Man of Tomorrow. Which I don't know. I don't know how much of that is just strictly marketing or not, because the director of Ironheart said that Ironheart was gonna lead into Doomsday, and you know, I don't think we'll find out how that ties into Doomsday maybe until Doomsday. So I don't know. I don't know exactly if that counts as a tie-in if you don't know how it's gonna tie in. Right. So hopefully this actually does leave a more like definitive like lead up into Man of Tomorrow, because Man of Tomorrow looks like a crazy movie, and James Gunn has confirmed that's not even a sequel to Superman. It's just going to be its own separate thing.
Yeah, totally. Like Superman is going to be a part of it, but he's not going to be like the only main piece of it. You know, there's going to be other people who are like have played big roles in the movie, and I wouldn't be surprised if the end of this season leads into either Man of Tomorrow, which like you mentioned, James Gunn said it will, or maybe possibly like a Booster Gold thing. Maybe we get Blue Beetle somehow. James Gunn has mentioned that Blue Beetle is canon, but his world isn't canon, so he needs to find a way into our dimension, and what better way to do that than the QUC?
Yeah, that's not a bad way. That's not a bad way to get in there. That's not a bad idea.
But I mean, regardless of what happens, there's really no way to predict it, because there's still, like we said, there's so many different ways that it could go. Yeah,
and there's just so many different interesting characters that could pop up in Man of Tomorrow, because in the comics it has Lobo, Martian Manhunter, Lex Luthor, just to name a few people. So I don't know how they're gonna exactly incorporate those characters into this movie, because most of the movie kind of seems like it takes place in the very early stages of Clark's time as Superman, like even when he directly comes out as Superman. And if this isn't a sequel nor prequel to Superman, you know, I wonder how they're gonna adapt that.
Yeah, it's a good question to have. You know, I mean, at the beginning of the Superman movie, they had the captions on screen talking about like what's happened over the last like several years, you know, and like metahumans have been around for, I think it was 300 years, was it? Yeah. It was like 3 centuries. So, I mean, there has to be, and like Superman had been a superhero for 3 years at that point. So during that span, there has to be a lot of stuff that's going down for him to get to where he was at the start of the Superman movie. So maybe that's going to explore what happens in that time period. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a big movie.
Yeah, there are so many things that they could do with it.
Yeah,
absolutely. Maybe it'll have like a Thunderbolts vibe.
Oh yeah, that could be cool. I like that. Yeah.
I mean, and Thunderbolts did have a Superman-like character in Sentry.
That's true. That was a good point. Yeah.
Although I doubt they'll dive into the identity crisis and addiction stuff as much.
Yeah, I don't imagine so. I mean, but like a big part of the like a big stress of the or a theme of the Superman movie was that he's human, you know? Like humans struggle and go through things like that. So maybe we'll get some insight on that.
Yeah, maybe. That would be really cool. Although I wonder how much James Gunn is going to take into account people's criticisms of Superman being quote unquote weak in the movie, because he was facing a lot of very high level threats in the movie, like ones that were like up to par with him and even beating him in some fights. I mean, we saw him lose a fight for the first time and people just saw that as him being weak, but I just feel like that's a pretty surface level criticism. I mean, you're not going to win every fight, and they're just used to Henry Cavill's Superman just standing there taking a blow as if like someone literally blew air on him. Like this Superman just is not there yet, and I feel like that makes it so there's more interesting things to explore. You know, I don't want to just see a guy who literally does not have to worry about anything he's going into at all, you know, because then every time I see him on screen, it's like, okay, situation solved, we're good, next scene, you know, like I want there to be some stakes. Medium
totally.
rare.
Yeah, if you're just gonna like, if it's just gonna be like invincible Superman going around and like flicking people like off Earth and like not taking any damage, then there's no stakes to it, you know. There's no like, you already know that he's gonna win every time. And just because David Cornsweet's Superman loses one fight doesn't mean that he's going to lose every fight now, or that he's like never gonna win again, or that he's weak. It just goes to show what he was up against and what Luthor was able to put together, you know, with his clone. And that's another thing. Like he lost the fight, but it was to kind of a version of himself, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, like he's Superman. He's not. You don't have to worry about him being weak. He'll be all right.
Yeah. If he looks weak, it's because he's facing something way stronger than him.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also, superheroes lose. I mean, literally, people get upset if Spider-Man is having a good day. So like Superman loses a fight and everyone loses their shit, but Spider-Man has to go through the fucking ringer for people to be happy. Like, you know, I know they're conceptually two completely different characters going through two completely different things, so therefore you can't exactly compare them. But I'm saying heroes go through stuff. Heroes lose, and that doesn't make them weak. I mean, he got back up and he won.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the most successful superhero movies of all time. The bad guy won. Thanos won in Infinity War, and it was one of the most successful movies ever. And yeah, there was like controversy to it. Some people didn't love the ending. It was like, but leading into Endgame like was another massive hit for them, because you want to know what happens after Infinity War. And I feel like it's a similar thing with the DC. Like when Superman opened with him crash landing in the ice, like in the snow, just got his ass kicked. That made me want to like see how that like, or what led him, like at whose hands did he do this?
No,
like,
I was hooked immediately. I was immediately interested. I wasn't like, oh, this guy's a pussy. Like I didn't think that way at all.
Right. Yeah, totally.
But yeah, that's episode 3 of Peacemaker. A lot happened here and a lot got set up.
Yeah. I mean, it was in the shortest episode too, but it was full. There was a lot going on, a lot of like developing the storyline of what's going to happen. We're going to be getting the crescendo of what they've been building pretty soon here, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and just so many different dynamics going on in all of the relationships and interactions with all of the main cast.
Yeah, absolutely. I was like literally thinking about the relationship between like Economos and Chris Peacemaker. Like they're close, they like each other, you know, they were hanging out at the party, but it's Economos's job to like make sure he's knowing where Chris is at all times, like monitoring him, and at this point like he's a part of the crew that's going up to the house. So it's a, you know, it's a conflict of interest, but I really like it, the dynamic.
Yeah, and plus it's either that or he loses his job. So
yeah,
what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
But we'll definitely find out. And we will see you guys on the next episode. And we will also be reviewing Marvel Zombies, as that will be coming out later this month. So we will be reviewing that too. Rated R, which means we are hyped for it.
Yeah. Yeah, we've gotten some Peacemaker has had some pretty gory stuff, and it's been really interesting. And Marvel Zombies is I have a feeling probably going to be on a similar vibe.
Yep, I can't wait to see Spider-Man rip some heads off.
Yeah.
Literally in the trailer. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. If you guys made it this far, we really appreciate it. If there's anything that you guys want us to talk about, leave it down in the comments. We'll be happy to talk about it, whether it be Marvel, DC, Star Wars, anything, just sci-fi. And also we do baseball stuff too. So if you like baseball, we got a bunch of baseball content. So feel free to check that out as well. But this has been the Sci-Fly Zone, where the multiverse meets the 7th inning stretch. We'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.